Good evening and welcome to Cocktail Hour. This is here we are. My name is Joe Ferlo. I'm the director of the Grand Oshkosh. The beautiful ladies who are to my, I don't know, left or right. I don't know how this StreamYard thing works. Cassondra and Jacy, who are the minds and the music and the hands behind Duelly Noted, one of the rarity in the business. A female dueling pianos act. Ladies, thank you for taking the time.
Yeah.
And thank you in advance for taking the time to give us a show tomorrow night for folks. We want them to know that tomorrow night at 7:30, right on this channel, you're going to give them a little taste of what it is you do. So let's talk a little bit about the act first, please. One of the things that I found interesting about you is that you're covering a pretty good span of popular music. Is that because you liked it? Is it because your studies took you there? How did it develop that this was the area you were going to focus?
Well, as far as music, I mean, that's just kind of the dueling piano MO. You know, it's what do people want to hear? It's not necessarily like all the music we love to do, but I think we have a really good balance of doing stuff for the people, but like also learning songs that we love and that we kind of like kick butt at, you know? And so I think, yeah, but I don't know.
So it's fair to say if someone who has never experienced a dueling pianos act, it's got a similarity to karaoke without the people coming up and doing stuff, although we'll talk about that. In that there's a certain amount of the show that you have pre-designed of material that you do, and then you also will take those requests and try to honor them if you can. Is that right?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, the thing about dueling piano show is that you never know the audience you're going to get. So we all have to learn and have this vast library of music so that we can make everybody happy and learn their genres of music from the 50s, 40s even. We've done all the way through today.
God,
so
we have done some events.
Yeah, I mean, we've had to learn a lot of songs that span a lot of genres. So we want to make sure when those requests come in that even if we don't know that specific song, we still know something either within that genre or by that artist or something in the same vein.
Yeah.
And then we kind of go with that.
Okay, I have to tell you a little true confession here, something you don't know about me. I'm a recovered concert pianist from a long time ago. No, a lifetime ago.
We're
And
not.
the thought of what you do terrifies me. Just
Well, what
terrifies
you terrifies us.
Yeah. Read it. Pretty much.
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of funny because like we aren't trained pianists at all.
No.
Like we learned in the last 7 years how to play piano, pretty much.
Wow.
I mean, I
Yeah,
like,
you
I
kind of
grew up with a piano, but I never took lessons because my mom, I think, tried my brother and sister at lessons and then kind of gave up on me because they didn't want to do it anymore. And here I am, like the one musician of the group, which I think is hilarious. But
You weren't pushed. You did it for you.
I did. It's true.
Yeah, that's
But
why I wanted, and that's what
I tried playing guitar and I got my fingers just hurt right away. And I was like, no. And piano, everything's laid out. So
yeah, you see the theory.
I started like any sort of accompanying myself or practicing. I always just picked up the piano, but I never knew what I was doing until I got to college.
See, I went the other way. I went all the way up to college and into college, playing anything. That was my thing. If it was on paper, I could play it. But then when the time came to get really serious about it, and they let me know how much practicing they expected out of me. I went into theater at that point. So.
I love theater.
I should point out, I see that we do have listeners, viewers, and this is an interactive show. If you've got questions or comments, or you just want to say hello to the girls, type it into the comments, and like we are about to do there with Natalie, and she's just saying hello, and a grand artist and a cocktail hour expert. A veteran of this format, so glad she is tuned in. Let's then work backwards. Let's back off from the two of you as a unit and talk about each of you. Who wants to go first? And just like your journey musically, you kind of just did a little bit of it.
Yeah.
Like just background and how I got into it.
Just how'd you get to the point where you found each other and hated each other?
That's a great question. I mean, I could go on for days about this, I feel like, but my main thing was I grew up singing at my home church, Mount Olivet Lutheran Church in Plymouth, which I still sing at today, which is really awesome.
That is awesome.
It's kind of my first outlet and my first performance. Like I wasn't really in a band or anything in high school, even though I wanted to be, I just didn't know how to do it. And I didn't play an instrument. So I just always loved to sing. And so I was in choir and I did theater in choir or in high school. And, but I was nervous that it wasn't going to be a career thing. So I looked into going into business financing, which at the time was what my dad was doing.
Sounds terrible.
And I looked at colleges for that, but I went to the college fair and I found it was music tech at the time, but I found McNally Smith College of Music, which is where I ended up going and which is where Cass and I met. I just had no idea that there were contemporary music schools out there because I knew I didn't want to do classical. I could sing classical and it's beautiful. And I think the training of classical is wonderful. And I feel like that should be the foundation, but I was ready to move up and do the contemporary stuff. So I found McNally. So I made a deal with my parents that I would go to a real university for 1 year.
Joke's on you, Nancy.
Which I did. I went to UMD, University of Minnesota Duluth, which I had a blast and I loved it. It was awesome. I do not regret that decision. That was actually really great. I got all my gen eds done and I did some music theory stuff there. And then I switched to McNally and then Cass came a semester later. Mm-hmm. So
Cass, how does that get you to McNally Smith College?
So, gosh, I think of myself as a huge dreamer. I think a lot of people know that about me. If you've spent or seen me from a small age, I did a lot of talent shows. I was never trained. My mom tried to put me, I took a few vocal lessons and I remember I was like really into Madonna at the time. And the gal wanted me to learn an instrument, but she wanted me to play the clarinet. And I was just like, my mom came in and the lady was like, okay. And she kind of looked really upset. My mom's like, what's going on? And I was like, we're going to have to let her go. I was just like, I'm not playing the clarinet. I didn't want to play the clarinet. So I wanted to play the trombone, actually. So I did a shows through school when I was really little. I sang all the time. We had this really, really ridiculous camcorder, and I would carry it in. My best friends from when I was little growing up, their moms have video of me singing on the toilet into a video camera.
Yes.
And I think I read a few essays about when I was little, and I was like, well, first I'm going to become a lawyer. And then when I'm really successful as a lawyer, I'm going to like change the world by being this accomplished musician. And then maybe if I have time, I'm going to be a doctor. And like, I go on and on and on and on and on. And my mom, she kept all these because she was like, you were insane. Like you were like, I'm going to do everything. And anyway, so that I always wanted to be a singer. I looked into this thing called, I didn't really want to go to college. I didn't like school. I came from a divorced family and we moved around, and I didn't feel like I knew what I was doing. I just knew that I wanted to sing. And so I looked into this thing called the Young Americans, which I met Deborah G. And I don't know if anybody knows Deborah G. She actually sings with Jacy and the Janis Joplin tribute show. But I met her when I was just a pipsqueak in high school, and she was doing this touring whatever and going around schools and inspiring people. And that led me to the Young Americans, which that's what they did. And so I toured some colleges and that school in California. It was basically you just paid a tour, so there was no education. So of course my family was like, absolutely not. And then I played in a few bands with like, it was an all chick band. What up, Jackie and Tree? If you're watching, they were trying to make me play the bass, and I was just like, I'll try, but I never did. And then, well, I did in college.
You sure did.
I definitely tried to learn every instrument in college. But yeah, basically, I found it was the same thing. My mom really wanted me to go to school, but all the schools and my dad and all the schools were classically driven. And I stumbled upon through a mutual like emo band friend with my girl band in Chaska and Chanhassen, Brandon Sass, and him and I went and toured the school together, and we both were like, yup, we're coming here. So, I mean, that's really it. And I loved McNally Smith, even though it went out
It died
terribly.
in 2017. It was the worst. My husband worked there. It was horrible.
Yeah, but I feel like the education we gained and like the relationships, it truly was like a good foundation for music, even though I owe so much money. So much money. It's so dumb. So feel free to tip us. I'm just
Yes, absolutely. And by the way, tomorrow we're not running the tip link here tonight, but we will be running it big time tomorrow. They can find it though. We'll find your way to it. But yes,
I'm totally
and my appreciation to you for donating time, and I hope that it turns out to be something favorable for you too.
It's just fun to hang out.
Yeah, I agree. It's been pretty dull to have a theater with nobody in it.
Yes.
I understand. So how and I'm asking this question not so much as a leading question, but I'm really interested and don't know the answer. As someone who went to a classically driven conservatory of music, I can't imagine what a non-classical music school is like. What do you study? I knew I was studying Romantic period and Baroque period and this and that. Where does it lead you as you're learning in that kind of atmosphere?
We studied that too.
We still did everything.
Mhm.
The emphasis was leaned heavily towards jazz but more contemporary. So we didn't spend time analyzing like
Classical
notes and numbers and Neapolitan. We did that, but it was all like we did chord structures and
we used more numbers than Roman numerals. So like music theory wise, it was very
which blew my mind because I did come from the jazz and the classical portion of UMD. I did study vocal performance there, which was all classically driven. And so I had started my music theory there where they do the Roman numerals. And then I switched to McNally where they just do like numbers. And I was like, all right, this is messing with me because I already don't understand it that well. And then I had to like completely change it, but it made it more sense to me the way McNally did it.
Dude, it was my jam. I loved it.
So loved it. I mean, and what was great about McNally that I loved was you got the performance experience of it. So there was an actual class where everybody learned, like the bass players all learned the bass part of these 5 songs or 6 songs. The vocalists learned their part, keyboard players, drummers, horns, everybody.
And you had to learn how to lead. You had to lead too.
That was the vocalist part, but I'm just saying like this whole class, everybody went off and they learned their parts
separately.
And then they came together and we all performed as a band. And,
we sucked. We were terrible. It was amazing.
Yeah, that's great because, when I think back to coming out of school and then, I had already by then switched to theater. But my thing was always at my best. If it was on the music, I could play it. But if I had to create it or if I had to chord it, I had nothing to work off of. And going forward, I have wished many times that I've learned my music that way. And it seems like if you're going to, play requests and you're going to, for what you're doing now, the ability to build music from that end out is probably a much better way to approach what you're doing now in terms of entertaining, don't you think?
Yeah. I mean, I don't understand why there isn't some sort of meshing of the two because
it's the same thing.
It is the same thing. It's just like some kids learn differently. So you got to adapt the way that those kids learn. I feel like this is a different way for people to learn the same thing. You all get to the end of the road. It's just you take a different path to get there. And it's like it might be
a language or something.
Yeah, here you go. Hey, here's a heavy duty question. Might make you a few bucks. Are you using a brand?
Heck yeah!
So how do you get one? That's great. You're going to tell Kevin the way he gets it is to find you some work, right?
Yes.
We are from the Midwest and we like to keep our beverages cool in our hands. So, yes, so we out Duelly noted koozies.
Thank you so much for participating.
That's great. All right, we're going to take a quick break. I want to preview one of our shows very briefly for the folks watching us. But when we come back, just in fair warning, I'm going to hit you with my favorite line in your bio, which is that you met each other and you hated each other. And we'll start from there. I am with the artists of Duelly Noted. We're going to take a quick break, and I'm going to preview the show we just added to our fall season. We are opening with a socially distanced audience on September the 12th, and we've got some small shows planned. Here is one of our October shows, Sunday and Mr. Gessel.
I love my baby better than a brand new sweater. I love my baby, he kisses me warm at night. Yes, I love my baby the most. He makes me breakfast toast. I love my baby, he makes me feel alright. Oh, when I'm feeling blue, I always knows just what to do. I love my baby, hold him very tight. 'Cause I love my baby better than the nice warm weather. I love my baby forever and a night. Yes, I love my baby forever and a night. Oh, I love my baby forever
That. Oh, thank you. And of course, it's October the 3rd at the Grand Oshkosh. TheGrandOshkosh.org is where you get your information and or your tickets online. And do it with, we're keeping an eye on things, but we are looking forward to a September soft reopening and getting some artists on stage in front of you. That's the answer to my trivia question. In the 550 seat hall, when do 200 seats look great? And the answer is in 2020. In 2020. So we're with Jacy and Cass from Duelly Noted. Again, I know I didn't get this exactly right, but it was still one of my favorite comments in your bio was that you met each other at college and you hated each other.
A little bit.
Well,
A little bit.
Okay.
I didn't hate her. She didn't like me.
No, that's not true. I thought you hated me.
No, man, you were just so you didn't want to talk to me.
I was quiet. I'm a quiet person.
I couldn't break the walls, yo. I couldn't break the walls.
If you haven't been able to tell yet, like I'm a little more reserved. Cass is a little bit more outgoing. She is like at school, like you could hear her coming from a mile away.
I was singing and screaming and dancing and doing cartwheels down the hallway. I was so happy to be there all the time.
And everybody knew Cass. Like it was just like everybody knew her. And I was at the point in my schooling where I didn't have like a ton of people that I could like go to. Like I had my friends, but they weren't at school and they weren't like close friends. And so I had always seen Cass and I had admired her talent, but she intimidated the heck out of me. Cause I was just like, she's so big that I don't know if I can just go up and be like, hey,
what's up, girl?
But I was like extremely intimidated. And so I just was like, I'm going to avoid her because I don't know how to approach it. And I
just was like, hey, what's up? And I thought she was super good. You know, I never looked at you like I never looked at you and was like, oh my God, what a bee. She's so much talent. Like
I never thought that about you either. I just was extremely intimidated.
No, I'm not saying you did, but like, I just feel like girls get real catty.
We do.
Sure. No. No, not at all.
We gotta
not ever.
Yeah. But
not ever. So what's the event? What is the event or the sequence of events that bring you together to the first time you say, hey, let's try something?
So, I mean,
we were in a class together. We were in a class
until
together.
we get here, until doing
Okay. Tell them about your sister.
So I had a talk with my sister because she is definitely one of my best friends. And I was just like, you know, I need more like friends at school. And I don't really know how to go about doing that because I'm just not as outgoing in every circumstance as a normal person. You would think that I would be because I like to sing on stage, but that's
lots of artists are introverts.
Yeah. And so I'm definitely an introvert extrovert. And so she was just like, well, is there anybody at school that you would want to be friends with? And I was like, well, there's this girl, Cass. Like she seems really cool and she's super talented, but she's really intimidating. And she's loud as shit. Careful.
Oh, sorry, crap. Bubbles. We say bubbles.
Yeah. Anyway. So hopefully that. Yeah. Anyway, so she just said, go up and talk to her and start a conversation and see what happens. Like the worst thing that could happen is that she says like, bye. And
bye.
Whatever. So
I was like, hi.
But we ended up having a class together and we needed to go to a bar
to do the showcase.
Yeah. And Cass didn't have a car.
I didn't have a car. I rode my bike and I walked everywhere.
So, but she was living in St. Paul at the time and I had a car.
And you were by St. Paul. You were.
Yeah, we both lived in St. Paul. So I offered you a ride.
And I was like, yeah, man, thanks. And literally from that moment,
it's just
we were like inseparable.
Yeah.
Like it was just fun. Mm-hmm. And we got fake IDs and we drank at different places and we had so much.
We did the college thing, man.
We met boys. We lived together on a lake. Oh God, our life's been really cool. Then we got married and we had kids and now it's over.
It's over.
You got married to other people.
What?
You got married to other people is what you're saying.
Yeah.
No, we're definitely married in a certain sense. We talk.
Yeah, oh, no doubt.
She is my business wife.
We
for
talk about,
sure.
we're like, Jesus, the way we have to talk to each other sometimes. I'm like, it's like we're married. Really, it's like a real relationship.
A lot of the best collaborative relationships are, without a doubt. So what leads you to? We'll talk about what the show is, but what leads you to say, okay, we're done with school. Let's go earn some money, and here's a way we can do it.
That's you.
Well, okay, so dueling was really like my thing. I worked at the Shout House, and I was just a stinking stage host. And I remember seeing all the money they would make all the time. And they'd get me up to sing, and I would be like, oh, yeah, I'm by the side of the stage having a great time. And I would just like entertain and be silly and whatever I could do to make the show better. Because I'm a team player, even though I really wanted that job. So, I mean, this was almost 9 years ago when I worked on and off there for about 6 years, for 5 years, maybe about 5 years. And basically from that moment, I moved to Mexico. I did some other endeavors. I got back home and I was like, I need to play an instrument, because being a singer, just a singer, you have to rely on other musicians, or you have to put your own band together. Bands don't make money. I'm sorry. They just don't. Not like this. So I was like, what can I do? I want to work at the Shout House. So I started training, and I trained and I trained and I trained, and I was no good. I learned 90 songs in 100 days, and you bet your bottom dollar every single one of them sucked. I was so bad. But I still auditioned again, and I tried, and they were like, I'm sorry, Cass, we're gonna have to, like, we just can't. You're not ready. We don't have a position for you. And it was heartbreaking. I was very heartbroken. So I don't know if you believe in God, but I totally do. And so I prayed that whole week. I prayed and I was just like, what am I going to do with my life? I can't afford anything. Like Jacy and her husband, Todd, had helped me when I got back from Mexico, really get back on my feet. They let me live with her for the summer. So I got my first little tiny studio apartment again. And I just started practicing all the time on this really crappy piano. It was like a child's piano. And anyways, all of that happened a week later. I get a call from a dear friend named Andrew. And he's like, hey, this agency called me. I know that you're really into dueling. They want something unique. I really want to do it with you. And I was like, okay. And it just like that, like all of those, and like for me, it was like, okay, like, of course, God's path, like, this is it. Here we go. You've been in training. And so I met with GL Berg, and then Andrew had some other career things that he was really focused on. And I don't think he was as serious as he really wanted to be, but he couldn't be in that situation. So they were like, well, Cass, who do you have? And so at the moment I was like, oh, well, a boy. And I asked one of my best guy friends, and he was already working at the Shout House, so he couldn't do it. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to rope Jacy in. And
I was the runner up.
Yeah. Well, we had a different thing.
I did it.
It wasn't even that. It was like,
I would have done the same thing. I would have thought like, it's a male and a female. So let's.
Yeah. I was like, it was like a one trick. And then I was like, wait, can I do another girl? And they were like, you have a girl? And then it was like no brainer, you know, but we both had to train really hard, because you can play piano, you can play songs. Like our first promo video is literally us playing and singing, and someone wrote a comment, are they just gonna play and sing songs? And you're like, oh God, this is so bad. You know, but we just, you suck enough that you just learn the game, and we learned
but you
the
keep
niche.
going.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
We learned the niche.
Some people stop and they're just like, this is too hard. And it's just like,
We
we've just
didn't
taken
stop.
every criticism, but also every good thing, and just kept running with it too.
Yeah. And once you know the show, like we know what works for corporate audiences. that doesn't work for like clubs.
Mhm.
It's so different. It doesn't work for colleges. It doesn't work for state fairs. Like it doesn't work when you're on an amphitheater stage. You have to do more of a show, you know? So it's being able to adapt, not just musically, but personality and truly reading your audience.
Yeah. And we also, I mean, not to be cheesy or anything, but we are super fortunate to work with GL Berg as our agents.
Yeah. Hands down.
We wouldn't have been as successful and been able to have the shows that we've had and learn from those shows and just keep crafting our show to be the best that it can be without them. And so
and we're
that was
still
our,
learning.
That was
from
our
them.
huge motivation to just like, we want to be good so that we can make sure that we're good for them too.
And like represented well.
Because they have a very high name in the industry and we don't want to, we want to meet that. So
but also it's not every agency has the opportunity to do what you're talking about that Berg is doing, which is to allow the artists to nurture and grow a little bit within the framework of being represented. So that's great. What's the difference between what a show of yours is like for a senior citizens home and a show you do at a club? What's the list? Yeah, how are you going to approach that differently?
there's the
Edelweiss, don't stop believing. There you go. There's the difference.
we basically stop at like the 60s.
Yeah, we play a couple 70s and they're like,
go back.
oh.
Yeah.
The best though is like I feel like I respect my elders and I appreciate them, and I am so happy to sit down with a person with years under their belt and have like meaningful conversations. But man, can they make you feel judged? Like, just like, what in church, honey?
Well, the reason I feel like is because they are so attentive when they're watching the show. So, and like you go to a club and you maybe have 5 people with eyes on you while the other 50 people are just having.
And then you got like 4 dudes coming up with a beer and being like, please, sweet child mine. Get out of my face.
It's
Yeah.
people to like, work that out too.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, it is a different show. Like we need to sing more. We need
we always are like on our best behavior. Like we're always like, oh, we love you guys so much. Like we're so different. And then we're like, all right, people. Like for the clubs, it's just so different.
well, it's different vibe, and
It's called respect.
and you have to be able to adapt to the environment that you are in, and because
we're speaking lightly as we talk about this, but not a lot of artists can do it. Some of my favorite shows that I've done feature cabaret artists, friends of mine who have performed and for fundraisers of mine. And one of the reasons that I've always looked in my mind for cabaret artists is they're used to audiences who are clinking glasses and having conversations and doing whatever along the way.
Right.
You can throw some artists, including me, in front of an audience that's not paying attention 100%, and I would fold up on it.
You have to make them listen.
Mm-hmm.
You have to look at them and be like, all right, what do they want? And you make them listen. You talk to them, you make them want to be involved.
So what are people getting tomorrow night? Are they getting the bar show or the senior citizen show?
They're getting like a mix. Well, I think tomorrow we're going to do more of an intimate thing.
I think we worked out a really good set. I mean, we're going to leave some room for requests because we do know that people are going to be able to request. So we want to leave some room for that. But I mean, our main strength and the things that we love and we hear the most is we just want to hear you guys sing. Like just sing songs that you guys love to sing. And an environment of where people are sitting
In a theater.
but also like in their homes and maybe just having a cocktail while they listen to a show. We're not gonna like, if you want to sing along, like you can, and there will be some points for that. But for the most part, it's gonna be songs I think you can just kind of sit back and listen and just enjoy the show. And then,
so having said that, let's do a little housekeeping here right in front of our audience. Tomorrow night, right now I've got a place where they can say hello in the comments, and I'm encouraging people to ask questions. Tomorrow night I can be telling them, feel free to request a song.
Yeah.
Super.
100%.
Yep.
There are songs I'm not going to do, but I would like to.
Yeah, of course. Of course. No, I think that's fabulous. I think that sounds like a lot of fun. And for people who are not paying attention to me earlier, that is tomorrow night right here at the Grand at Home at 7:30. This is duly noted. I'm going to take another quick break. And while I'm taking this, now, Kevin, didn't I just say this? Did I just say this out loud?
Yes.
well,
You did not. Well, yes and no. Not text message requests. You can put requests in the comments tomorrow, and we will, and I'll get them up on the screen just like that, and we can make that work. By the way, Kevin, who is of course your agent, is asking also. Wait a minute. Oh, he's correcting me. He's correcting me.
You said comment.
I said comment. That is the comments. You put it in the comments.
No, we actually
Making the
post a line.
Is it okay if Kevin and I fight a little bit during your time here?
yes.
You don't mind, do you?
Please do.
We do. So one thing, Joe, we do have a text message request line, and maybe that's what he's referring to.
Yeah, it's
Oh, well.
For our shows, when we do like, in-person shows, we have banners and we have our phone number on there, and it's strictly just a business line for text message requests.
Well, see, Kevin, now I didn't know that. So that will be operating tomorrow, though, will it?
It can be.
Yeah, we can post that. We
Yeah.
can post that. The reason we love that is because sometimes when we do corporate audience party or like we're playing for a corporate audience or a corporate party, holiday party, some people are really shy. You never know what kind of, like, it could be a room full of engineers. They're not going to come up. They're not going to play with us. They're not going to have, like, be as intimate and outgoing as, like, let's say we did a sales and marketing group. All of them are going to be going nuts. So the text message line was kind of like a creation to bridge the gap between people feeling like they can't come up and give us a request because we're going to pick on them, and just be able to be like, hey, I really want to hear this song. I think they would do great. Or, hey, it's Jamie's birthday. It's my father-in-law. I don't know why I say that.
That works.
Or it's like Jackson's birthday or whatever. It's a good way for us to connect with our audience.
Mm-hmm.
Saves paper.
It totally saves paper.
So as I take this break, let's address this. I had no intention of putting you behind the keys tonight. Did you have any intention of getting behind the keys?
Nope.
No.
I didn't think so. You have to tune in tomorrow for that.
Oh, you want to hear anything?
Huh?
We're set up, man. We're good to go.
I didn't put up the Texas Center. They're just going to sit there and talk the whole time.
Oh yeah, we could do the national anthem for you. There's an acapella.
Oh, there you go. So, but we will come back and we'll talk some more. I want to talk. I really want to kind of walk people through what a dueling show is like, because it is a different sort of experience. So we're going to do that. But first, I'm going to do a quick preview of the opening show. I mentioned that we will be opening September the 12th. The tickets are on sale as of this morning. The group is called B-Twins. They are just the kind of energy group you want to open a season at the end of a long closure. A celebration on stage. This is a taste of B-Twins coming to the Grand on September 12th. like that, except you're all going to sit apart and wearing masks, but we're still going to have a great time.
That was more intense than camping.
So,
Intense.
Jacy and Cass are my guests tonight. They are the dueling pianos of Duly Noted. And let's pretend that there's someone out there listening who has never who has no idea what dueling pianos is all about. Is that like the dueling banjos? One tries to top the other, blah blah blah. What's a dueling concert? What's the style all about?
High energy, interactive show, typically request based, and then we bring people, like as far as the interaction, we bring people on stage. We can embarrass them or we can lift them up. A lot of people think that dueling is like us against each other, but actually like us against the audience, or just like poking fun.
And also supporting each other too.
Yeah.
Like we take turns playing songs, but we also play on each other's songs.
Sing on each other's songs.
And sing on each other's songs, but we're not going to be like dueling banjos where we're trying to top each other because we want to make the show all about
like
you guys.
that, like one song like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But our show
It's not a whole night of anything you can do, I can do better. It's So
And there was something else I was going to say as far as like you're saying interaction and I don't remember. It was an important key.
well, it'll pop back at you. It may be 5 minutes after we're done, and it may be before we're done. So we'll see where that goes. Tell me then, because you have a request-based show, what is the and sometimes people request you go, no, we can't do that. I assume, but we can do something like it by so and so. What's the This is the version of the actor's worst time on stage. What's the one song you really gave a try to, thinking you were going to get through it, and then as soon as you got into it, you went, "Oh my God, this was a bad idea."
So many.
I know there are so many.
Like list. I know one that I am not good at every time. And
I probably shouldn't say it because someone's going to text it tomorrow, right?
Yeah, I won't play it. Not if it's being recorded. Live show, that's just a memory, baby.
Yeah, I understand.
I have been perfecting Bohemian Rhapsody forever. And I had it, I was like killing it because we had been on the road so much. And then it was out of nowhere. We got the request again and I was like, yeah, whatever. And then it's just like, I completely stopped playing and I just stood up and I was like, come on, audience, sing it with me. It was so embarrassing.
But it worked. They
sang the whole dang thing. I was like, why am I even trying to do this right now?
Right. Is it an atmosphere? It strikes me that it's an atmosphere where stumping the artist is actually part of the fun.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh yeah. People are like, they send Rhapsody in Blue or like, they'll send those kinds of things too.
One guy, East Texas State Fair, this guy sent us some crazy country instrumental.
And we were a song that nobody's ever heard of.
It was so good. We went to our hotel. I'm like, oh man, it's just a 1-4-5. And I was like, I got your lines. And then like Jacy's playing and I was just like, I don't know anymore. We had like a couple of beers, I think. By that point, it was bad. That was really bad. And
it was just, we should not have tried the request on that point.
He had like a throat thing. Yeah. So when he was asking us, like, he was mad. I think he's already mad at us because like Jacy asked him to repeat something a few times and he was like,
It was just a really
the old
audience interaction can be uncomfortable sometimes. Yeah.
Man,
Yeah,
God.
Let's take it the other direction now. What's the song that you didn't have prepared that someone requested, and as you went through it, you went, wow, we got to add this number. This was great.
So many good ones. Sometimes it's just the day. Like sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, I've done that before, and then I'm like, and then sometimes I'm like, yes.
I feel like for me, it's been like the country ones. Like it's like Jolene. I didn't think that I had that one down.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden,
Jolene.
I just like now I can crush Jolene. And then like Before He Cheats by Carrie Underwood,
Yeah.
I'm just like, yeah, I can play those.
Um,
Yeah, woo!
I
I've done those quite a bit.
I
So
don't know. For me, I feel like I just like am always trying, and then like I'm like, yeah, that worked, and then I'm like, yeah, all right, next. I can't pinpoint an actual song except for one we actually will be playing tomorrow. I got as a request, and I was really excited about it, and I just played it one day, and then I played it pretty much every single day for the rest of that tour because I was so pumped that I got it. And now we've kind of like been working on it and perfecting it. So I'm not gonna tell you what it is though.
No, not at all.
Tomorrow.
Do you have a favorite era? I mean, you basically play for the 60s to now. Do you have a favorite style or era that?
80s. Yeah, I think 80s is just like the crowd pleaser, man. Everybody loves the 80s.
yeah, I mean those are all the jams.
Yeah, Jam Town, we're in it.
It's just fun. They have fun songs.
Who's each of your own favorite artists, performing artists?
Okay, you can't ask musicians that. I mean,
Yeah, of
you
course
wanna
I can.
It's so hard because
It
I
is
feel like
hard.
I
I can name a couple.
well, yeah.
But they're not like ones that I do and really notice. Like ever.
No.
one ever requests. Like, so Stevie Wonder, pretty much like my jam.
Yeah.
Maggie Rogers. I love Maggie Rogers so hard. I love Aretha Franklin, which like we do get to do a couple songs by her, but they're like totally the overplayed, not the ones that make me want to just like dance and
Aretha is incredible.
Mhm.
She's so talented.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
She goes way beyond respect and Chain of
Yes,
Fools.
yeah.
Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But she does.
Yep.
And I'm trying to think who else. And I mean, there's so many, but and I've been really getting into Fleetwood Mac. I know that they've been around forever, but like I've really been dissecting their music, and I'm just like, wow. And I also think like they're just the summer jams, you know, we listen to it.
Mhm.
Let's be real. Sarah Bareilles.
Oh God, Sarah Bareilles stuff. That is like our
hands down.
every time we go on a really long thing, we like do the entire discography and we sing every harmony. And I'm like, quit taking my harmony. She's like, you took my harmony. It's so dumb, but we love her. We went and saw her live before COVID. Thank God.
We did. I know. I'm so thankful for that.
Yeah, and we saw The Waitress, not with her in it, but that's a
musical.
musical. Yeah, you probably know that. They're a musical guy.
I do. Yeah, but it's a great piece of work. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I
She's
bawled my
incredible.
eyes out.
We did.
So good.
Yeah, I was trying to get pregnant at the time, so like you can only imagine how I was like, I need to have a baby.
Good. She ended up.
It's the power of music. It's just the power of music, right? So tomorrow night we're going to get on board and let's talk a little bit about it, just so people know where we're going before we let them go tonight. We're going to get on and you're going to start a show. We're going to invite people to make requests. They're going to type it into the comments section of their Facebook or the YouTube. I'm monitoring both. And they can also type in their other comments about you and to say hello and all of those good things. There's going to be a place where they can help support you as artists through the virtual tip jar, and we're going to encourage people to do that. And pretty much the main difference is instead of looking at this screen, they're going to be looking at this screen most of the night. And I'll be a bit of a fly on the wall, popping in things along the way. And that's just the way I like my Saturday nights to go. So, is there anything else you want to say to folks to encourage them to tune in?
We're just, it's been a really rough season for musicians, and I feel really fortunate that we have technology like this, because truly, even though this is our job, like, we love it, even though we have to play Sweet Caroline all the time. Like, we love it so much, and to have the opportunity to play for you guys tomorrow goes beyond tips and all this other stuff. It's truly like, it's a release for us, and it's a blessing. And so if we can share that with as many people as possible, with your friends and family, if they think that, if you think they're going to enjoy it, please share. Because it's just like, it's not about the likes. It's not about all that crap. It's truly like, did we connect with somebody tonight? Did we make their night more fun? Like, and let's be honest, what else are you going to do?
Yeah, that can be the alternative. Well, listen, Jacy and Cass, thanks for spending some time with me tonight. It was nice to get to know you a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm going to enjoy watching just like everybody else tomorrow night, but we'll tune in. And in the meantime, you have a great rest of your night. And again, thanks again. See you tomorrow.
Thanks, Joe. Give it up for Joe.
Yeah, Joe.
Sweet. Bye.